you look at the trend line, both the Liberals and the Conservatives are going down. They're both down about 3 points. We have the Liberals at around 36. The Conservatives, and this should be very troublesome for the Conservatives, they've gone from being statistically tied with the Liberals to now at 27% nationally. The NDP are up at 20%. Green Party in the double digits. We haven't seen that in a while at 10%. So what are we seeing? The two front-running parties, Liberals and the Conservatives, trending down. Liberals still have a comfortable advantage. And I'll say the other two opposition parties, the New Democrats and the Greens, looks like they've got a little bit of wind in their sails.
Wow. We've seen a bit of infighting. Well, I don't know if infighting may be too strong a word in the Conservative Party. Deputy Leader MP Candice Bergen had a difference of opinion to Erin O'Toole on the whole Andrew Scheer hiring scandal, where it emerged that he had hired his sister-in-law to work in his constituency office. And this happened after a Liberal MP was kicked out of caucus for hiring her sibling. Bergen basically said she didn't think it was that big a deal. So how unusual is this sort of open disagreement especially with a new party leader?
Well, usually, Erin O'Toole came out definitively when he found out about the controversy related to Andrew Scheer and the hiring practices under his leadership. So Erin O'Toole came out pretty black and white, saying, "Hey, that doesn't pass his ethical standard, and that's not going to happen. There's not a place." And then we had the why don't we call it the official or unofficial clarification from Candice Bergen. But the thing is that what's interesting, the Liberals and the Conservatives had a similar controversy at the same time in terms of the inappropriate behavior of MPs. Maybe, Michael, when we look at that trend line that we just talked about a second ago, where both the Liberal and the Conservatives numbers have been on the decline, that for Canadians, they hear this and they go, "Oh man, again?" And it feeds the narrative of, the mainstream parties, and members of parliament not serving Canadians, serving themselves. So maybe that's why, the numbers for the NDP and the Green Party are up, not because of anything brilliant that either one of those parties have done, but just because of the shenanigans of a Liberal member of Parliament and also a Conservative member of Parliament, the former leader, running into this controversy. And, I think for Erin O'Toole, this is not of his making, but, it can't be good for the Conservative brand to have a former leader of the party engage in that type of hiring, which, I think my understanding is that the rules technically were not broken.
Correct.
However, the spirit that people would expect and the ethical standard that people would hope that MPs have has certainly taken a black eye.
Now, Candice Bergen also had some criticism for Manitoba progressive Conservative Brian Pallister for his handling of restrictions in Manitoba. Manitoba, we've seen COVID-19 cases absolutely surge recently. Their infection rate has become quite high. And she sort of criticized his lockdown measures, and he publicly responded to that.
The measures we've taken are stringent. They are the most stringent in the country, but they are absolutely essential and necessary to protect lives here. And so we'll stay focused on battling COVID, and I would not want anyone to misunderstand my sincere affection and respect for Candice Bergen, but I am the Premier of a province that has the highest positivity for COVID, and we're going to stop that from continuing.
Nick, there's this pressure within provinces for lockdowns, impacting small businesses, the economy. We continue to see this. Are voters sort of turning against their provincial leaders now, or is it sort of still support?
Is the honeymoon over, you mean?
Yes.
COVID honeymoon. That sounds so sad. Anyways, COVID honeymoon. We know when we track national issue of concern, there's definitely that second spike of concern is at around 37% as an unprompted issue, and is about 25 points or thereabouts higher than either healthcare or jobs in the economy or the environment. But I think premiers have to be careful. I think there was pretty clear that Canadians were generally satisfied with most premiers and the federal government at the beginning of the pandemic. They put a lot of confidence that everyone would work together, and we seemed and did do better than a number of other countries. However, what we have to watch out for is what I'll call the grinding effect, that, as Canadians day in, day out have to deal with the pandemic, day in, day out have uncertainty in terms of what businesses might be open, what businesses might be closed. Can I visit my parents that might be in an old age home or not? Will my kids go to school, or will I have to take them out of school? That this uncertainty leads to a certain level of frustration with provincial governments, where Canadians become a little more demanding in terms of having stability and having a plan. And my experience, at least from a polling perspective, is that that's all Canadians want in their lives is certainty. They want to wake up in the morning, know that they can work and make a living, that their kids can go to school, and that there's a certain level of stability. But the COVID-19 pandemic has created instability and uncertainty, and I think it's creating a certain level of anxiety. So I think, and I think the risk is going to be the vaccines. We may find out that some premiers might be a little more harshly judged than others, depending on the vaccine strategy for their province, whether it makes sense, how well or not well organized it might be, and how they can get vaccines to the right people at the right time as soon as humanly feasible.